Welcome to Basscast Radio, bringing you the best in local and national news in bass fishing, as well as interviews with some of the best anglers from all over the U.S. With your host, Brian Carter, and Hank the Bass Geek. Sponsored by Wildware America, Z-Bait Company, Missile Baits, Battleborn Batteries, Conrad Brothers Marine, Taylorman's Custom Lures, Vertical Lures, and Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range.
All right, guys, we don't want to drag the intro out too much tonight because we've got a double header. Something Bass Geek's never done one.
Never done the dub.
Never done the dub. But we're doing it tonight because we're getting caught back up. You guys know it's a lot of great tournaments have been happening over the last couple of weeks with a lot of great local anglers, as well as, you know, the Major League Fishing Pro Series event that wrapped up this past weekend. And we're going to have a local on as well. Mr. Chris Dillow, big fan of the basscast.com. And like I said, we got Mr. Jimmy Washam. There you go. Jimmy Washam on. So really excited to have him.
That's just the country coming out in you.
Yeah, no joke.
That's how I say it.
So we're going
to... washed those clothes yet?
Yeah, that was awesome. So we're going to introduce you guys to Jimmy and get to learn a little bit about who this guy is. And to be honest, he's, not a lot of people know who Jimmy is. I mean, he admitted it. I watched the interview. I was driving home from the beach, but he was late getting in this game of bass fishing. And he's made a lot of sacrifices to do this. And I think, this little check, this check for $200,000.
It's just a little drop in the bucket.
I think it's going to help out a lot for the rest of his career. And, now everybody knows who Jimmy is.
They know who he is now.
Got that right. So, and if I remember correctly, he now gets an invite. I want to say, don't quote me, but I believe now he gets an invite to go fish the Major League Fishing Pro Series, not Pro Series, but the Major League Fishing Bassmaster Series, whatever the heck it's called. So,
yeah.
So this is really freaking cool for him. And
tackle warehouse pro?
No, this is the Pro Series is Tackle Warehouse. This is the
That's
right. This is the Bass Pro Shop Series.
Oh yeah, the BP Pro. Yeah, so he moves up to the top tier.
So he gets the opportunity to move up to the top tier now. So that's pretty awesome.
No entry fee.
Yeah. For how long? I don't really know. Guys, by the way, if you didn't check out, Mr. Bass Geek had a milestone over this past weekend while I was gone. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a little bittersweet. We've really done well the past 2 years, but the house, which we are finally, some odds and ends, you're never done with the house.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the big projects are done. We're gonna stamp it. Done.
So we are now concentrating on going from 45,000 followers to 50,000 followers.
No, we going to 100 grand. I mean, that's
guys,
going to
make sure you check out Bass Geek's TikTok channel. He's been putting out some good stuff. It's probably going to help a lot of creators, especially like yourself. I'm not a creator. I just kind of, come up with some crazy content. But those 3-minute clips, how they've, upped the game now. We've gone from the 30, 60, 90 seconds, now up to a minute and a half, now up to 3 minutes. So make sure you guys check out the Bass Geek on TikTok.
I'm going to be putting some quick how-tos out there for sure.
It's awesome. So make sure you guys are following him there as well. And make sure, like we were talking about, man, let's get him over the 50,000 mark this year. And make sure you guys head on over to YouTube and hit the follow button as well as the bell. So don't forget, check out this sponsor right here, Fish USA. If you purchase anything from Fish USA on the basscast.com, we get a small little percentage, but either way, they got some great products. It's a great company, and it's a small tackle store, and it's always worth supporting the small people out there, kind of like ourselves.
I agree.
Also, Rumble. You guys keep hearing me talk about it. Head on over and follow the Basscast Radio on Rumble. And before our guest comes on tonight, man, we want to thank Riverwise Fishing for sponsoring the Basscast Radio. If you guys are following them already, and I hope you are, Riverwise Fishing on Instagram, they got a big sale getting ready to come on here pretty soon. Summer wide sale starts really soon. I'm not telling you guys the date, but just please make sure. I was told the date, but please make sure you guys are following Riverwise Fishing. You know, people might change their minds, so I don't want to throw it out there and be like, oh, well, we decided this time. But make sure you guys are following Riverwise Fishing, your source for quality fishing gear. They offer your favorite baits in your go-to colors, such as sexy shad and green pumpkin, but have added unique, effective patterns such as spring fling, pumpkin spice, and bullfrog. Speaking of frogs, their signature 3-inch micro frog has been the most productive and versatile baits in the lineup. Definitely a fan favorite, guys. When it comes to sun protection and being comfortable on the water, check out their line of apparel for anything from performance shirts to neck gaiters to beat the heat. Check them out at riverwisefishing.com. And we want to thank them for sponsoring Basscast Radio and all the great sponsors that sponsor the basscast.com. If you guys want to be a part of Basscast Radio, just hit us up on our social media, the basscast.com. And if you want to be a part of Bass Geek, where do they hit you up, brother?
You can just hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, Bass Geek Fishing. You can slide into my DMs if you want to chat about some sort of sponsorship or some sort of product visibility process. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I've been fishing all day and I'm tired.
I've been at work all day and I'm tired because I didn't do a daggone. I did do something, but I didn't do a whole lot.
Man, I grinded today. And it paid off with a whopping 2 bass.
Well, we had that 100. I know I was told this morning, it's like the heat index today is supposed to be 104. And I was like,
oh, God, it was awful, dude. I mean, stale. There was no breeze. It was awful.
You're a brave man. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to check out my Instagram page, head on over, Bass and Brian 73. I had a birthday last weekend. So thank you to everyone that wished me happy birthday, by the way. We went, me and Danielle did some deep sea fishing out on a little head boat. So we had a great time. It was Danielle's first time going from green to blue. If you guys have ever been out that far. But we had a great time, caught some fish, and I haven't been on one many years. So it was an awesome time.
I've never been out that far, man.
It's worth it. Even if you just like the boat ride, I mean, it's like
I'd love
the experience. You know, it was a 3-hour ride out to the blue water, the Atlantic Ocean. But guys, we want to make us quick. We'll be right back with Mr. Jimmy Washam. All right, guys, we are back with the 2021 Major League Fishing Pro Series champion, taking home $200,000. Mr. Jimmy Washam. What's up, brother?
Hey, Brian. How are you, bud?
Man, we're great. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate that. Congratulations on the win. Has it sunk in yet?
It's starting to. It's starting to. The first couple of days was just kind of like a blur. I couldn't even, hardly think, but starting to catch up on all the media stuff and get, really. I mean, I worked today. I worked yesterday, so kind of back to normal life, but it is definitely sinking in.
Didn't we all? Holy cow. Maybe one day this thing will pay for all our hopes and dreams.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I do a 9-hour day, so I understand where you're coming from, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. All right. So let's start it off with this, man. Who is Jimmy Washam, man?
I am a deputy sheriff in West Tennessee, a dad and a husband, and I've loved the outdoors for my entire life. I've literally been fishing since I was 3. My nickname when I was 5, 6, 7 years old at Sardis Reservoir in North Mississippi, where my dad taught me how to fish, my nickname was Wheel 'em In, because everybody knew when my dad was catching fish because they could hear me yelling from across
That's
the lake
awesome.
saying, "Let me wheel him in." So I got the nickname Wheel 'em In. So I mean, it's just been my blood ever since. I didn't have wealthy parents, so I kind of had to take a little slower approach to getting in the professional game and work my way up, fish out of a bass tracker, buy a 20-year-old boat, win a little bit of money, buy a better boat, win some more money, and then make the financial leap. So here I am today.
That's awesome. That's what kind of, to the win is freaking awesome as crap. But this is what I really want to kind of concentrate on is, you being a 9 to 5 weekend angler, kind of that's, that's what this basscast.com was built on. Yeah. I saw a need that, the weekend angler wasn't getting the notoriety. And, they're the ones out there, they don't get this crap for free. Right. I mean, they don't get some Zooms and some, River Wives, our sponsor, or all them other people. They don't get that stuff for free. They got to buy it. Yeah. And, that's pretty freaking awesome. So I know I was watching, the weigh in, and I was watching you on stage after that. You said you were late getting into the game. What did you mean by that, man? Was it the Pro Series game or, the
professional fishing?
Okay.
I started, let's see. Last year was my rookie season on my pro circuit, and I was 33, and there's a lot of guys that have the opportunity at it in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And what I mean to that, by that, relatively speaking, is that had I had the opportunity to have joined when I was, or made that leap or taken that risk when I was in my early 20s, then who knows where I'd be today. But I'm perfectly content with the fact that I have earned every penny of it, every single inch of it, and I think that it's given me the ability to value and appreciate what I have earned tenfold compared to if I'd have had maybe something right out of college or something of that nature,
right,
and had that opportunity help. And I'm not knocking anybody that has the opportunity to get help, because now we got college fishing, so
yeah, we do.
Guys in my same shoes might not have to go to work at Bass Pro Shops for 7 years and then get on the sheriff's office. They might get a scholarship, go to college and then do well there and be able to advance straight into it. But the path that I took a little bit longer than I guess the perfect story would be written out.
Yeah, we had the Bassmaster college champions on last week, and talking about that college thing. And I mean, it's been brought through a lot of great anglers, but it would have been nice I'm 48 now, and Bass Geek's right around me, but that would have been, I probably would have went to college if I could have fished.
Yeah.
So I'm like you, I did go to college, ground my way through things, I come from a, as I call it, a dirt poor background. So, I've literally shoveled the shiz, you know what I'm saying, out of horse stalls and worked hay and tobacco to buy my school clothes. So for me to hear stories like yours, I've got a ton of respect for it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Definitely awesome. All right. What do you, with you being late to the game, as you were saying, how do you think that might have helped you a little bit more, more before you made this jump into the Pro Series?
I couldn't imagine being, let's say 10 years sooner, 24, and fishing on championship day in the pro circuit title championship, put it that way. I'm definitely more level-headed. There's, got more life experience behind me. And so I think those are benefits, more fishing experience. I've never not fished. I've always been a fishing fanatic. Regardless of if I had the vacation time to do it on Saturday in a tournament or if it was Wednesday and Thursday of the week. But so that I think, just the life experience and being able to handle pressure, make decisions, not just fishing decisions, but, more business-like decisions and how you manage your money in a game that's so expensive, how you deal with partnerships, how you approach people, how you communicate, all those things certainly have benefited me with having a little bit more age under my belt. But like another interview I did a couple of days ago said, I think there was an article, and I don't even know where it was. It's all run together, just I can't keep up with all of it. I'm thankful for it. But somebody said that, I had started later in life, literally. That was the words they used, on it. And the guy that was doing the interview said, wait, you're 34. You're still a kid pretty much. So, I still got hopefully 20 or 30 years of healthy and happy fishing ahead of me. So I'm not counting myself out at 34. I feel like I'm in the prime of health and a good balance of all that. So so now's the perfect time.
That's awesome. All right, let's go into fishing, man.
Let's do it.
I know this has to be, your greatest freaking ever achievement right here. Going into this event, how'd you feel, man?
I felt confident. I was thankful that it was not a northern smallmouth event. Last year's title championship was on Sturgeon Bay. And me being, back to the 9-to-5 thing, me being a working man, I have not had time to invest on northern smallmouth. Well, the Mississippi River, I grew up fishing on the Mississippi River out of Memphis. It's totally different. Don't get me wrong, 850 miles north of there at La Crosse, it's totally different. But it's a river with largemouth. It's not drop shotting in 25 foot of water to 40 foot of water on rock shoals. And that's just something that I hadn't built confidence in yet. So I was pleased with that. I'd been to La Crosse once last year when we had a super tournament on the pro circuit. And so the navigation was something that I felt more comfortable with as well.
Go ahead, Geek.
So, what was your practice like? How many days did you get to practice down there, or I guess up there? Yeah, somewhere.
Up.
Up. Yeah.
We get 2 days of practice, but that was how it was the entire regular season on the pro circuit this year. Last year it was 3, but this year it was 2. So we got two days of practice for the title championship. Of course, up there this time of year, days are long, and they were literally, 5:30 to 8:30. They were 15-hour days. So I got about 30 hours of practice, and I did not miss 1 second of official, practice that we were allowed to be on the water. And I really felt like I had a very productive practice in the way of surveying the entire pool 8. I had about 3 different patterns that I felt like I could sample quickly during the event and kind of read out as the event went which one was developing or was going to be more valuable, and then build on it as I went.
All right, for you guys who don't know how the whole thing kind of goes, Group A, Group B, it's a little bit different. It's kind of, they each fish 2 days off and on it, just like Major League Fishing does. Excuse me. And then it's the top 10, right?
Yes, from top 10 from each group, but it's actually the top 9 because the winner of Group A and the winner of Group B automatically get a day off on the knockout round and go straight to championship day.
Right.
So.
And then it's, like you said, the top 10, top 12, and you won it with 17-15. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So you've made it. You made the cut. Going into the final day, man. How you feeling?
Unbelievable, but there's a reason behind that.
Okay.
So on about midday, 11:30 on the knockout round day, there's 18 of us fishing for 8 spots. You got to be in the top 8 to go to championship day and join the 2 guys that won their groups. So about 11:30, I was in the Black River area where I made my living that week. I had caught a limit quick, and I had culled 4 times, and I had 8.5 pounds. Yeah, culling 4 times sounds good. I had 8.5 pounds.
That ain't good.
No, and I was catching fish with hook holes in their mouth, and all of a sudden, I felt like earlier in the week I was around fish that weren't that fresher, and all of a sudden I felt like I was fishing for fish that had been caught 20 times. I mean, I did not have the confidence in that area. All of a sudden, I felt it waning, and I said, man, I'm not going to sit up here and die and then drive home 11 hours wondering why in the world I had all this other stuff to go look at that I'd found in practice and never even went to it. So 11:30, I packed up, headed about 12 miles south, and pulled into an area that I'd caught a 4-pounder on a frog. And the last day of practice, last afternoon, I went in there, frogged it, no bites. And I was coming out, and there was a rock wing dam, closing dam. It's been referred to, as a million different things, but basically a rock structure across the mouth of this backwater. And when I had pulled in to the pocket, my prop wash spooked some shad, and I saw a big bull behind it. And I said, that's probably a big bass or a pike or who knows. And I had thrown a frog because I had it in my hand across there, didn't get bit. So as I'm coming back out, I've got the wind at my back, and I anchor down with my Lowrance Ghost, and I go to the back deck and make a long cast with a walking topwater.
Right.
I catch a 5-pounder. Well, actually on the first cast, I had like 3 fish miss it, and they were all big. So I'm freaking out. Second cast, catch a 5. The third and fourth cast, I have big fish rolling on the bait.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the last cast, I catch a 4 1/4, and I literally culled up 6 pounds. So from there, I said, I've got enough. I've got what I need for the next day. Left it. And when I left it, I told the camera boat, I said, I think there's an 18-pound bag there.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was, so needless to say, I had a lot of confidence going into championship day.
All right, let's talk about the technique, man. Won us big whole entire event. Let's see them.
Yep. Well, really what got less credit, because I didn't actually catch them on live on the last day with it, but one of the biggest things that got me there was a buzz bait, Black Bass Tackle Industries, BRD buzz. This one has rotating blades. Those blades counteract, and it really churns, and you can pull it slow. But I caught a bunch of fish on days 1, 2, and 3 on this that were crucial. And
now on that buzz bait early in the morning, or
actually I was catching more quality fish in the afternoon on day 2. With 10 minutes left, I caught a 3.5 pounder and culled out a 1.5 pound fish. So wow. I jumped 2 pounds. That right there I may have made it in anyway to the knockout round, but that right there for sure did it on the buzz bait. And I was covering water around eelgrass where there were irregularities or points or isolated patches, just places where a fish should be, and they would eat buzz bait. The thing on the pressured schooling fish, I say pressured, they were keying on a little bitty bait. They were frustrating. You'd have fish blow up in front of you, and you cast the kitchen sink at them, and they wouldn't touch
holy
it.
Cow.
They're like jumping over your bait, So that Azuma Popper Z was far the best bait to catch those schooling fish in the Black River area. And the funny thing, a lot of times I twitch. This bait walks really good, and then I just let it sit. And it might sit there 8 or 10 seconds, and then one would just come up and absolutely inhale it. So that was a big deal. The walking capability of that bait was real important. And then what everybody wants to know about, how I made the money on the last day. Whoop.
Oh, you got away.
Yep. We're good. That bait will never get away. It's going to hang on that. This is a super old walking bait. You can tell by the
Oh, yes.
Dude, I know that color.
Yep.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
the color it used to be.
Yeah.
It's caught so many fish. I mean, it's literally see through now. But that was what I caught the two kickers on at the end of day 3, and then what I caught my first 5 or 6 fish on championship day.
Right.
And after the topwater bite went away, we got later on in the day, those fish could feel my presence.
Mm-hmm.
They were pressured. We had, no wind. Then I tried throwing a shaky head on that rock, and I got hung twice in like 5 casts and broke it off. And I said, man, this is not productive. So I put on a Nico rig, nail weight in the head, 6-inch finesse worm, a little Gamakatsu wacky style hook with a weed guard. And, with that nail weight, you've got the nail weight making bottom contact, but your hook's above the bottom. So it's much more snag proof. And that was really how I caught.
Who made that worm?
Kicker fish, an unnamed brand that
Okay.
many people have in their boat. But it's just what I had access to at the time. We'll put it that way.
That is awesome.
Now, was that a one knocker? That spook you were throwing there? What was it?
Yes,
Was
it is. And this is not a
I love the
everybody in the world has thrown an old spook, and that's what this is, an old head and one knocker.
Yep.
And
that one knocker in the summer, just something about it.
Gizzard shad seems to be, what. But if you got gizzard shad around, then the one knocker is a big deal. I've caught a ton of fish on that bait at Tennessee River. Yep.
That's awesome. What's your setup? What was your setup on those baits, man? Especially the one that won all the money, man. A lot of people throw them a lot of different ways. So
yeah, a walk in topwater, you're right. People got their opinions, and I'll give you mine. I don't mind throwing one on mono, but this week I threw it on a 7.3 medium heavy cranking rod, a hammer rod. I threw it on 40-pound braid to a 15-pound mono that was about 2.5 or 3 feet long. The reason I threw it on the braid, these fish, I told you those big fish were rolling on it, missing it. Right. They were in kill mode. They were literally hitting the bait a lot of times. I'm talking about smashing it with their mouth closed and just blowing it out of the water. And if you set the hook, then you would totally booger them. Those fish would not bite again. I don't care what you threw at them. Mm-hmm. So the key was on those long casts to be able to feel if that fish actually got it. And the braid and the medium heavy cranking rod was the best combination for that. The Popper Z, a 6.5 foot medium action rod with straight 15-pound mono. Right. It walks really good. The Nico, 7-foot medium action rod, 10-pound braid to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. And then the Buzzbait, 7.3 heavy action hammer with 50-pound braid.
Now, do you always throw I noticed you had oh my God, I've been fishing all day too. I'm tired, man. It's like 100 degrees now over here. But a hook, God, work with me.
For your Nico rig.
No, for the buzzbait. I noticed it.
Oh, a trailer hook.
Yeah, trailer hook.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yes. So, quick story on that. The first pro circuit event of this year at Okeechobee, in practice, I'm catching fish on the exact same buzzbait, and I was having 6-pounders like choke this thing. I'm talking about having to get the pliers and reach down in there as like in their crunchers.
Oh, wow.
And I'm catching them out of all this crazy vegetation at Lake Okeechobee. I go into tournament day. I'm like, there's no way I need a trailer hook. These 5 and 6-pounders are inhaling this thing. I couldn't take it from them if I tried. Mm-hmm. I missed the first 4 fish that tried to eat it, and they were all giants. Yeah, so I'm still kicking myself for that. So ever since then, and I knew better before that, but ever since then, you will not catch me in a tournament with money on the line without that trailer hook. I don't, if I have to just not throw it, then that's what'll happen before I throw it without a trailer hook.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, I got one more question for you. I know I'm gonna let Bass-Geek ask one more question. My final question, as always, man, what is your takeaway from this entire win, man? Is this something that you learned, like you could take to the next event, or, a lot of people say slow down, speed up, make the right decisions?
fish free and be adaptable. That's it. Because especially with the days off between, I fish Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, things are going to change. I don't care where you are. And when you're there, things are going to change in that amount of time. And that encouraged me to go into each day with an open mind. And I literally caught them different every day. I mean, on Group A, day 2, I had to pull out a shaky head to get a bite. They would not hit any of the stuff I was throwing. And then later in the afternoon, I coiled up with my buzz bait. But that morning, if I would not have adjusted and gone finesse with a shaky head, I wouldn't have caught a limit. So, I mean, that was the thing. I had to treat every day. I had to not wipe, what I knew from the day before out of my mind, but I had to be extremely open-minded and adjustable and let the fish tell me. Fish tell you if you're not getting bit, then they're telling you you're not doing the right thing. Just like if you're doing the right thing, they tell you because they bite. So that was the main thing that I took from it, to have confidence and just being open-minded and going fishing.
That's awesome. I have one more question. I'll let ask you, Cass. How did you feel about that Group A and Group B? You had that day off in between, and you're the whole time you're thinking, it's I don't know, my nerves would be tore up.
I loved it.
Okay.
I loved the day off. I'm a meticulous angler. I have to have everything just right. And when I fish back-to-back days, I'm up till midnight putting line on stuff and making sure my knots are square, boat's clean, wiped down. That's the way I am. So I loved the days off. I loved the format that they did with the resetting weights. Somebody asked me at the beginning of the event what I thought about it. Well, what if you go into you would have went into day 4 with a huge lead. Well, I said, well, this event and this format is going to benefit someone and it's going to hurt someone. And fortunately, in this event, I was the one that it benefited, but you have to play the game that way. And I fortunately was able to do that, and with my weights going up every day, and found that mega load for the last day and could just lean on them. So
that's awesome.
I really loved the format.
That's any format. It's going to benefit some guys. It's going to hurt some guys on some days. Some days you love it, some days you hate it. That's any. If it's just a 5 with compiling weights, it's the same thing. Some days it's great, and some days you want to change it.
You're exactly right.
So what's my question for you is, what does this lead you to next year?
Well, obviously, I'm going to try to maximize the potential from this, and hope to grow in the partnerships that I have, and hopefully establish some new ones. That we'll see. I mean, obviously I'm fishing the pro circuit next year. I will be, as we stand here today, I'm the only person on earth that has the opportunity to win the title, which was formerly the Forest Wood Cup, back-to-back years, because it's never been done.
Never been done.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, right now I'm a very humble and appreciative person, but the one thing about me is I'm never content. So this is great. I'm so thrilled about it. I've been trying to really soak it in, but I can already feel that itch on wanting to do it again next year, So and
awesome.
now, last week, if you'd asked me that, it seemed like a dream and could never be a reality. But now I realize that it is a reality, and I want to go try to win it again next year. So that's what we're shooting for.
Good deal.
Brother, before you leave, man, any sponsors out there you'd like to thank? Because they're the ones who pay the bills.
Yeah, I'll do it real quick, but
Go for it.
Midway Marine in Fulton, Mississippi, huge deal. Profound Outdoors. They've got Azuma, clone, swampers, all the baits that you need. Rockfish Sun Gloves. If y'all hadn't checked them out, you get them at Academy online. Best sun glove that I've ever worn. I really think they've helped me fish better with a full suede palm, just better control.
Right.
Lowrance, Mercury, Ranger, Boat Logics, Power Pole, a little local shop in Memphis, my very first sponsor years ago, Primary Tackle. They still stand behind me.
Wait. Where'd you say Primary was?
It's in Arlington, Tennessee, outside of Memphis.
Yeah, I know those guys, man. I love those guys.
Yep. I'll actually be on the Primary Tackle live show tomorrow. So
awesome.
Great group of guys, and they're special to me. black bass tackle. I actually help a buddy of mine named Jeremy. He's the founder of the company, but
yeah.
I'm a partner in that. And Jeremy and I literally build these with our own fingers. So we know they're built right. We build the best jigs, spinner baits, and buzz baits that I think you can buy. Hammer rods, love them to death. The best rod that I've ever used. Henry Off-Road is a truck place in the Memphis area that did my truck lift, sells tires, fix up your ATV,
Right.
cart, whatever. And then Willow Oak Lodge in North Alabama. It's Timmy Horton's basically dream ranch where you go deer hunts, pheasant hunts, free range hunts. Just go for a summer, not like couples night and stay in the lodge. And then my number one sponsor, my wife, Danielle, of course, she's supported me the whole way.
Awesome.
And I'm glad that things are finally paying off for all the effort she's put into it.
I got one of those here at the house too with Danielle.
Yep.
Good
Danielle's
gosh.
for the best.
Mine's a Mariah, so she's iffy. No, she stuck with me for 27 years, so trust me. If
There's something special about her.
Anybody sticks with me for more than 5 minutes, there's something special about them.
Or
Golly.
any woman that stands behind a man that's eat up with bass fishing,
You got that right.
They got to be special.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Got
true.
that right. All right,
Yeah.
brother, man. Congratulations on the win. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for talking to us. And hopefully we can get you back on really soon.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys, we are back. Like I said, the local angler, Waynesboro's Mr. Chris Dillow. Welcome, brother.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good, man. How are
Man.
you?
We're
Doing
doing
good.
great, man.
Yeah, doing blessed. Yeah.
Dillow, man, every time you win a tournament, you blow up the basscast.com. I don't know what it is about you, man.
I don't know. I kind of wonder myself, but as I say, I'm blessed just to even be here. Trust me. Yeah.
I think
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
I think, this is no lie. I'm sitting here looking at the numbers right here in front of me. 238 people went to that
Wow.
story. You are probably right now the number one FLW story on the basscast.com.
Oh, all the glory goes to God. Trust me. As I say, it's him, not me. Yeah.
Now, I know you're no stranger to James River. You've won a lot of money there. Was this event any different than any other event for Mr. Chris Dillow?
Well, it was kind of like very stressful. I ran to my lake house, picked up my boat about 2 a.m, ran to the river about 4:30, got in the water and just said a prayer. And as I say, it happened. So let's put it that way. I didn't have any idea, but no clue. I'd fished the Saturday before and hit a lot of the same spots I'd hit in the past. And all I could do was ring up about a 10-pound limit. That was it. So,
Right.
But none of the spots held any decent fish or anything. But thank goodness this time I kind of decided I didn't have anything else to do. So I said, I'm just going to repeat what I did last Saturday, and it worked this time. So whatever.
What do you think changed, man?
I don't know. The tide was probably, it was really horrible in Richmond. It was really good in the Chick. All right. So we blasted off. It was super low. So my game plan was to try to run jetties and stuff, try to pick off some pretty easy fish real quick, but the water was coming in so fast. I kind of scratched that pretty quick because I thought a little top water around them, but nothing was happening. So I said, well, I ran down to a few, I guess, the chutes, one of the water chutes
Right.
at the electrical plant. I fished that a little bit, threw a little bit of everything in there and nothing. And I picked up my jig and caught my first keeper. So that was good. I had just, kind of tried the top water, tried the spinner bait and the chatterbait, nothing worked. And then I picked a jig. There she was, the first one. So that was good. It kind of set my pattern. Then I ran back up the river pretty much. And I was starting to hit some docks because the water was coming in pretty good. It was covering the docks pretty good. So I started whipping them out and kind of fishing them pretty methodically, and I couldn't get a darn bite on them. I said, it didn't make sense. So then all of a sudden I started looking around the docks and there was some wood laying here and there, and just getting covered up with the water, maybe a foot or two over the the little logs and little sticks. It didn't take much to hold the fish, but so finally I picked up the jig and started fishing over them little isolated pieces. The next thing I know, 4 pounder and another good keeper. And I said, so that kind of set my pattern to start running that the rest of the day. So I was running down trees and brush pretty much most of the day. Yeah.
Guys, if you didn't know, he won us with 19 pounds even. So congratulations on that.
Thank you,
Keith Estes of Spring Grove, Virginia, was right behind you with 1810. So for people that don't, haven't really made the trip to Virginia yet, fished on the James River. It's a very unique place to fish. We got a lot of tournaments there, but things can change really quick out there on the James River, man.
Yeah, it's a different type of body of water.
It is.
I know most of the big bags are coming from the Chick. I've always told myself I'm not making that run. I've done it once or twice, and I said, I'm just not doing it. I'm not wasting my time. So I've learned the main river from the Appomattox up to Richmond, and just keep running spots, and it's been good for me. It was my 4th victory on the James and 11th total, my 11th victory total. So I've been blessed, but I fished the High Rock a few weeks before, and I'd never done any good on High Rock at all. And I squeaked out a limit on that tournament, finished 10th, tied for 10th. And I finally said, what's got me where I've gotten so far? That jig just seems, when I put that in my hand, I feel confident, and I never put it down. And finally I squeaked out my 5th keeper with about 8 minutes to go in the tournament on High Rock. So I did pretty much the same thing with this tournament too. Now I lost a good one on a brush hog, a June bug brush hog.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another one that didn't help me, which I called with it. I mean, I'd already called I guess I had 7 fish total, but I called another one, just a finesse worm June bug, and that was it. With all the other 5 came on the jig. So, but it was a finesse jig. Usually when I won in 2015, I was actually throwing a 1/2 ounce jig most of that tournament. And because it was like in May, June, it was earlier.
Right.
And it wasn't as hot, and it was just steamy, and it was just this horrible day. But so I actually scaled down to, I went to a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8 ounce this time, and just didn't want to scare them as much. So I was more or less methodically working through the brush and stuff and the trees to try to get them to hit it, and they would react on it, so. But as I say, it's a tremendous division. I mean, it's the kind of guys fishing these things, and I talked to guys that said they'd spend all week on this tournament, on this body of water, and pre-fishing stuff. And then for me just to show up and win again, as I say, I didn't see it coming, but I'm just so thankful.
Break down. You said go ahead. You
You
said
go.
you're fishing on a jig, man. What was particular about, besides the weight, do we have something special on the back end of this thing, or?
It's the same one I make. I've called it my Dillow's perfect jig forever. I guess I've won 8 of my 11 victories on this jig. I can't say I won them all because I didn't, but it's played the role in the rest of it. Can you see it right there?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a living rubber. I make it myself. I pour them in my garage. I call them Dillow's perfect jig, and I'll put 2 different trailers on it. This one is the Strike King, which floats. That helps, I think, sometimes, and it's got the orange on it. And then I got another one. Sometimes I'll try that the Power Bait Sugar Crawl, the little sugar crawl.
Yeah.
And that's more of a finesse, especially when I'm fishing docks and stuff. If I don't want a lot, then I'll dip them tails in orange or chartreuse, depending on the season. So that works out good.
Now, you said you caught 7 fish all total. Were these fish early in the morning, or was it, was it?
No, I didn't. I did not have. It was so low. The water was so low. I had my 2 fish by 11 o'clock.
Oh wow!
And I was off the water at 2:15, and then I went on about a 200-yard stretch and hitting some down trees and some merge brush, and then finally I picked off about a 4-pounder, and I just said, "Thank you, Lord." I kept on doing the same thing up the river, and next thing I know, I got another one. My poor non-boater, he's a great fisherman, and he never had a bite all day, and he was fishing. He was throwing good stuff, and he kept saying, "Chris, you put me around these fish. There's no excuse not to catch them." But then finally I picked up a finesse worm and caught one after I broke off my jig and didn't have time to tie it on real good. I had two I just broke off, so I got them stuck up on the wood. So then I picked up a finesse worm and caught one about 3. So I think it was just the right area.
Were these bites that you were getting off this jig, was it as soon as they hit the water, or was it
The first one that I got, there was a dock and there was a piece of wood isolated. I just pitched over it, and that fish actually started running toward the boat. That's the only good bite I had all day. The rest
Holy
of them,
cow.
I mean, he started running for the boat. And I just picked up, I said, oh my God, there's my line. I just set the hook real quick and just swung him in the boat. And that was a good keeper. And then the next ones were more finesse. I had to kind of work it through the brush and just methodically work it through the trees. And next thing I know, I would just feel he'd either load up on it and a couple of times I think I popped it. Next thing I know, when it came down, he took it. So it's kind of like just typical September fishing when you got to kind of force feed them, you know. But they weren't hitting it. The rest of the four didn't hit it good as that first one did. The first one definitely told me he wanted it. So that kind of told me I had the right color and the right size. Because I think if I'd have used a half ounce, I'd have been. It wasn't deep enough yet. The water was just coming up pretty good, you know. And I guess by 11 o'clock it was close to full.
Okay.
And but this time it worked. Now usually, as I say, in the springtime and May and June and all that, it's always been the half ounce. Has got me when I've got my good finishes. So yeah.
Before you.
Yeah.
So you think, I mean, because the water was shallower, you think that quarter ounce and that half ounce, was it just the fall rate, or when you were bringing across those limbs, you think it was just a slower fall rate that was helping you get bit?
I think so. And as I say, I mean, I put the jig in my hand. A lot of times I don't put it down unless I have to, I start getting my tail kicked or something. I will. But for the most part, I'm a believer in it, and I'm looking for 5 bites a day. That's all I'm looking for. And if I get 6, I'm really blessed, and I think I got a chance of doing well if I do. So, but as I say, when I won that Big James in 2015, the Northern Open, I mean, that jig didn't come out of my hand. It was there all 3 days. So.
Which size was it that was really shining for you? That 3/8 or that quarter?
I caught 2 on the quarter, and I think 3 on the 3/8. So 3 of those came out 3/8, and the other 2 was on the quarter. But when I was fishing that shallow brush earlier, before 11, before the water had got too deep.
Yeah, when the water's shallow.
I was showing that the quarter ounce, and then when it got a little deeper, I was throwing the 3/8. So yeah. So, but that was my last 3 came on the 3/8 because it was higher water. So, but the half would have. I never got the bites on the half. So.
Oh wow.
Yep.
What's the future for Dillow next, man? Where are you heading, brother?
I take it a day at a time. I want to thank everybody out there. I know that y'all know what I've been through the last 4 years. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer right after we came back from the Bassmaster Classic, and we felt the prayers. We really did. But we went through 4 years of just trials and tribulations and trying to get her through this, and we thought we had her through it, but it just got worse. And finally, May 1st was our anniversary of 38 years, and she went on to be with Jesus on May 8th. So I want to thank everyone for the prayers and keeping us lifted up. So that's why I even thought, can I even win another one? But I know she was with me. She was with me to make this happen. And but as I say, most of the tournaments I've won, I mean, people know I don't even pre-fish. The first one I won in 2007, I was in Han Boater that couldn't get in the tournament. It was that Costa Series or Spring Series, they called it. And I just said a prayer at the meeting and didn't even pre-fish. 4 days later, I had 63 pounds knocking off Mike Ecanelli, Dave Faber, and all them boys. And with my homemade jig. I mean, every fish came on that jig that week. And I just said, thank you, Lord. And on my way home, my wife didn't even know I won. So I called her and I said, guess what, sweetie? I said, you know what? You never got to finish your degree. She always won. She quit after 3 years to come home and be with her mother while she passed away. And I called her on the way home. I said, guess what, honey? We got the money now. You're going back and get your degree. So I had my daughter at Bridgewater, and my wife went back at EMU and got her 15-month program with the 4th degree. So, I mean, the Lord has just worked in mysterious ways in my life. And as I say, I give him all the glory because like the Northern Open, when I won in 2015, I didn't pre-fish. I just showed up. And here 3 days later, I'm standing on the stage and win about 10 pounds. I mean, it's him, not me, trust me. But
what I mean, you bring that up. Me and you talked earlier. You were also injured as well.
I did. Yeah, matter of fact, I fell about a month ago. I've been in about a month, a little over a month. I've been in physical therapy for about a month. My right rotator cuff is gone. So I've been kind of in physical therapy trying to get it back in shape and hopefully not have surgery. But I've already had 2 rotator cuffs on my left shoulder. Now my right one may need to be operated on, but
Oh man.
so I was sitting there injured at the High Rock and couldn't even cast hardly. I actually picked up a spinner reel thinking I'm going to have to catch these fish on a finesse worm on docks, and they didn't happen. So I finally picked up my jig and started throwing rocks and points and stuff and dragging it real slow like I would a Carolina rig, and was able to get 5 ticks in a day to get my limit and finish 10th, but or 11th, whatever it was. I think I was tied to 10th. But long story short, this tournament the same way. That's why I've gone to what they call a 7-11 meat stick. It's a G Loomis 7-11 with GLX, and I love it. And so I've got that long rod. I can pitch it even when I'm injured and still use my left hand and keep them coming. But I did lose I lost one good fish in a tree that I swear it'll give me 22 pounds that day.
Wow.
Oh Lord.
She came off on the brush. He was on the brush hog. That fish was on the brush hog. But I lost that fish. But I said, boy, if I'd have got that fish, then I think I'd have definitely felt I had it in the bag. These guys you're fishing against, you never have a clue. You always think you do pretty good in tournaments in the past where I used to have like 16, 17, you could win, but now you got to have close to 20 if you want a chance.
All right. So you talked about earlier, about not practicing. What do you think is your strengths for that? We talked to a lot of different anglers, and we got these new series now where Major League Fishing and it's another pro tour. It's a bunch of different tours that popped up over the last couple of years. You get a day.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
See, I'm in real estate full time. I've been in real estate for 12 years.
Yep.
And you know how things are going. It's crazy. As a matter of fact, I was trying to ratify another one right before I got on this call, the lake house. So it's crazy, but I don't have time to pre-fish. I'm lucky just to get to the tournament.
But what has helped you break these lakes down to qualify? I mean, to have these successful finishes that you are having?
Because I'm a shallow water fisherman. I like to throw wood, docks, and rocks, and I stick to that pretty much. And
okay,
I'll pick up a finesse worm when I have to, but as a general rule, that jig's going to stay in my hand until the day's over. And then, as I say, I'm just going for the win or nothing. That's just the way I've always fished.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's a jig. I love a jig. I love to throw a jig. I love that archy head that you were showing right there. Yeah, that style of head is my go-to jig, and a jig is a hero or zero type bait.
It is.
Catch them or you ain't.
And to fish against the quality of the people that I fished against all these years. I mean, like in 2007, when I just won that thing, by the skin of my teeth. I think Brian Schmidt was second. He led all 3 days. I just said, I want a chance to win this, I got to put the jig in my hand and not put it down. And that's what I did. So it's worked for me, and that's probably what I'll continue to do. Every time I try to sway away from it, and all of a sudden, like I guess it was Lake Norman last year, they got on that little finesse worm. So all of a sudden I was having so much fun catching these little 2 and 3 2-pounders. I said to myself, they ain't gonna win their tournament. But you got to learn. I mean, I got to put that thing down and put the jig back in my hand.
Yep.
So,
all right. So as you guys all know, about a week ago now, the man behind the jig passed away.
Mm.
The man, the legend himself. Yeah. And I actually, he's quite older than me. I think he was like 78 years old, I want to say, or almost 80, and that number right there. But he did a podcast last year, and I went back and listened to someone else's podcast, something I very rarely do, but I really wanted to learn more about this gentleman. Yeah. And, he said the jig is, one of the hardest things out there. If you start in bass fishing, you don't want to start with a jig.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think has made you so successful with this jig in your hand, man? Like I said, you had to start somewhere. I mean, when Chris Dillow started bass fishing many moons ago.
Yeah. I had great friends. We started a club, East Augusta Bassmasters. It was Tim Meadows, Greg Meadows, Steve Hardy, guys like that. They were great fishermen. And my buddy Tim Meadows, he was a jig fisherman. We did a lot of jig fishing together. So we learned from each other. And God rest his soul, he passed away years ago, and I miss him dearly. But and I knew in those days, most guys don't share too much with you, but I said to myself, you know what, I've got to learn and develop that. And a a lot of the jigs I found had them big thick hooks in it, and I hated that. So
Yeah,
I started,
remember that.
and a friend of mine, Phil Harmon, had a yard sale with an old mold there, and I bought the thing I think for $5, and I took it to a machine shop and had it drilled out and worked up to where I could get my little 3-aught hooks in there, and kind of tweaked it a little bit. And then that's the mold that I've used for a long time. And now you can get the do it mold. They work great and everything, but the confidence is I guess when I put it in my hand, I feel good about it.
Mhm.
And as I say, I'm not looking for 20 bites a day. If I
No,
get
you ain't
6
gonna
or
get 20 bites
7,
a day on a jig.
yeah, I'm just ecstatic, so then I know that I got a chance to maybe do good. So
What's your setup on a jig rod, man?
I'm using the G Loomis GLX. I got the 711 and I've got some 7.6s, and then I'm using the 20-pound. This tournament I had 15. I went with 15-pound Seaguar, but most time I'll use 20. But I knew that in this time of year, it's definitely finessing, a little more finessey. So I with a lighter jig, I'm going with the 15, and then I like the Lose speed spools. Well, the Lose, I guess it's the Super Duty. I use that reel.
Super
Right.
Duty. Love them.
And then I use the Shimano Excellence as far as the spinner reel is concerned. When I have to pick that up, but I don't like to pick it up anymore than I have to.
See,
Yeah.
I like picking up that Shimano.
No, listen, I leave them egg beaters at home for the wife.
I love that. Holy cow. If I'm like David Dudley, man, just give me 5 of those, and that's all I need. I don't need no bait caster, man. Just give me 5 spinning rods. That's all I need.
Oh yeah. And as I say, I want to thank a few people, like
Go for it.
if I can, people like when I went to that Bassmaster Classic, I got on that phone and just started calling some people, asking any way you can help me. And people like, the Lowrance, Bob and Machine jack plate sent me a brand new jack plate. Power Pole sent me power poles. Optima Batteries sent me all the batteries for my boat. General Tire's been great because I've won that contingency like 4 times this year. And TH Marine and the guys at Propeller Dynamics, my guy, they rig my boat with everything they have on there, and guys
awesome.
like that. I mean, and Rod Gloves sent me more rod gloves than I'll ever use, and it's just been a blessing the way people have reached out and helped me and just made me feel like a rock star, kind of like you say,
That's
Nice.
awesome, dude.
Yeah. But
Guys, I'll be
but you
honest.
can't do this alone. It's
No.
definitely it's a village, like you said. I mean, you've got friends, you've got all your people that's helped you start when you were young, and taking kids fishing. My dad took me to the river. I couldn't done it without him. Our twin brother, we're always real competitive, and everything we do, and he's been great. My daughter's support, but it's everyone. A lot of times, your buddies aren't going to tell you how they're catching the fish exactly, but if you listen to sometimes just the littlest, slightest thing, it can, like James Regario, a good buddy of mine. He fishes a lot of tournaments, and there's things that we talk about, and he won't tell me exactly what he's doing, but he's given me a little tip here and there once in a blue moon, that I've seen how he caught fish at a certain time. So that kind of sticks in my mind. And I can say, well, maybe that might work on this lake. And sometimes it does. So, so you're not always asking for all the information, but just sometimes the little tidbits add up to where it can be a success and you might win a tournament, because God knows it's so hard to even win one tournament,
Oh yeah.
and it's a blessing. But and
an
as
awesome
I say,
career,
I
dude.
thank my Lord and Savior every day for giving me the opportunity to just give him all the glory, because I couldn't have done it for sure. And everything I do, I mean, I've been top listing, top selling, top producer in my office in real estate for 11 years straight now, and I've won 11 tournaments now. I think I'm gonna have to play 11 a lot, because I've been blessed. I've been blessed to no end, and I'm not bragging. I'm just so humble.
Yeah. Hey.
Humble and just so thankful, for what he's done, and for all the people I've met, and all the great friends and the people who might be listening now and stuff, that lift you up at these tournaments and thank you and just congratulate you and stuff. I mean, it means a lot. And like Kermit Crowder, a good buddy of mine. I mean, he was the guy that calls me to get into that 2007 tournament that I won because he couldn't get in. He was 7 on the waiting list. I was 5 on the waiting list.
Oh,
And
wow.
he said, if you, I never met him. He was at the door sitting there for 2 hours asking everybody came to the door, are you going boat or not? And I said, you know what? I'm not going home. Let's put it that way. If I can't get in the tournament as a non-boater, I'll pay the extra money. My wife might not like it, but I'm going to do it. And then next thing I know, you'll get in. So that's how I met Kermit Crowder. For the first
That
time.
is awesome.
2007. Then 4 days later, this was a 4-day event. This wasn't a 3-day. 4 days later, I'm sitting there on the stage, knocking off David Fee, Rockinelli, Prosnick, and all them boys. You know, it was when a dream come true. You know,
that is awesome.
But yeah, so like Kermit and his wife they're just great friends. And I mean, everyone's just so sweet out there. People like you, and you took pictures of me in some tournaments that
I did
never even knew
up
of.
here on Smith Mountain Lake, man.
Yeah,
you won one up there.
And we appreciate everything you're doing for the sport, you and your buddy. Yeah,
appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
Guys, if you don't know, man, Dillow's the one over. What'd you say that over 200,000?
Yeah, it's over 200,000 now. Over 100,000 with FLW and BASS, I guess. Won a boat. I should have won a boat in 2007, but they wouldn't give it to me, Ranger, because they said my boat was 1 year too old. I said, anytime you beat the best in the world, they ought to give you a boat. But
holy
Ranger's been good to me. I can't tell you how much contingency money. I think $24,000 in contingency money I won from Ranger alone in my career. So, you know, that's pretty good.
Guys, if you don't know Chris Dillow, you need to follow him. Make sure you check him out. Purchase a house through him. I don't care what you do. He's one of the greatest guys. I mean, this guy takes time out for everybody, even little bass clubs. And I'm not mentioning this club, and me and Dillow knows. I mean, he's done expos for them. He's talked for them, and he's done a whole lot for bass fishing right here in Central Virginia. You don't hear a lot about him, but when he wins, bam, it's big. So, brother, man, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for talking to us tonight. Congratulations on the win. I'm sorry we couldn't do it a week ago. Like I told everybody, there's 4. We've been doing, there's a Wild West series we're talking to now.
Yeah.
You got the NPFL, you got bass, you got Major League Fishing, and all these are big series now. So, I mean, we're blessed that we're, being able to talk to so many different anglers all across the United States. So thank you for taking time talking with us, and good luck to you the rest of this year, man.
Thank y'all so much. And as I say, just remember, cherish every moment with your loved one, with your wife, your girl, whatever, because we're not promised tomorrow.
Amen.
And if I can ever help anyone out in real estate or fishing or anything, please feel free to give me a call. And my website's chrisdillow.com. It's simple, chrisdillow.com. But thank y'all, buddy. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight and supporting us. And love everyone. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
All right, guys, man, we really, really appreciate Mr. Chris Dillow coming on talking with us, guys. Man, I'll be honest, guys, if you're not following him, check him out on social media. Like he said, check out his website. He's an awesome dude, great guy. I mean, it's what he has done. I mean, and he's quiet about it. He's one of those guys you really don't hear nothing of. Like I said, during the podcast, during the interview we had with him, you don't hear anything much out about him, but dang, does he bring a big stick when he shows up. So,
he's a fun guy, but you can tell he's a humble guy too.
Yes.
So.
Again, thank you to Jimmy Washam. Congratulations on winning the Major League Fishing Championship on the Mississippi River. Congratulations to him again. And like I said, we had 2 great guests on and really, really appreciate that. I know this show's run a little longer than usual, but I thought it was great.
I thought it was great. I had a good time. Always fun talking to the guys that are cashing the big checks, because afterwards I generally ask them for loans. So
it's 2 there, man. You know what? It's kind of crazy to hit on this real quick and think about this. Dillow has won $200,000 in his career. I mean, and it's been going on for like 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy did it in one tournament. I mean, think about the payouts and how they've come along. And, I know there for a while, I don't want to go into this, but I had a little conversation with someone yesterday, when we had FLW. When I first got into this thing, Walmart was a big sponsor, and,
Yep.
payouts were up, and then it went back down. And,
Mhm.
how this whole thing has dipped and gone through these valleys, and now Major League Fishing owning it. And all the changes there, we don't want to really go into and elaborate on, but Jimmy did it in one freaking day. So, I mean, the sport's done come a long way to this billion-dollar industry, tackle, boats, tournaments that we know today. So, I mean, lots has changed. And like I said, more from Chris, and, it's all so starting to, I ain't gonna ramble here much longer, but it's like what we had last week when we were talking to the college kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's being in the right place at the right time.
It is. It's a just conjunction of a lot of things.
It's,
the time, the practice, time on the water, seeing the things that are going on around you, making the adjustments at the right time, and that's generally when it all comes together for you.
I mean, I know some big sticks here in, that we're here in Central Virginia. One of our guests we had a couple of weeks ago, we had Junior on, but his dad, I mean, gosh, his dad is awesome as crap too. And it's like, we had, here we had Top Cop. Everybody knew Jeff Freeman. I mean, went to a Bassmaster Classic as well. But it was the timing thing, I mean, kids, life, family, wife, the whole 9 yards. And, this college thing that I probably would have went to, even if a small college, if I could have went and fished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just scraped C's and D's like I did the rest of my career. But, I mean, that helped propel these kids to where they are now. And, Brandon, I always bring up Brandon because I love Brandon Card. Major League, right to Bassmaster and, cash and big old checks.
Brandon's been on my channel. He's a good guy. I know Brandon very well from my
brand new baby on top of that.
Yeah. Move. Like, he's down in the North Kakalaki. I hold that against him just a little bit.
All right, so we're not gonna talk about it, but there's so much. I mean, like I said, so many changes in my short career in bass and dealing with all this, the media, the whole 9 yards, my little over 10 years watching all this. And I think we're blessed. We're right here at the perfect time.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of changes, a lot of things happening, payouts are changing, people getting paid is changing, just different things are changing in this career. So we're really blessed about that. All right. Like I said, thank you to everyone. Like I said, things have changed so much. We're blessed to be a part of that, and blessed to be able to talk to so many great anglers and have some awesome sponsors. And we want to thank Riverwise Fishing for being one of those great sponsors. They're a great source for great quality fishing gear. They offer favorite baits in your go-to colors such as sexy shad and green pumpkin, but have added some unique and effective patterns such as spring fling, pumpkin spice, and bull frog. Speaking of frogs, their signature 3-inch micro frog has been the most productive and versatile bait in their lineup. Definitely a fan favorite. When it comes to sun protection and being comfortable on the water, check out their full line of apparel. For anything from performance shirts to neck gaiters to beat the heat, check them out at riverwisefishing.com. Like I said earlier, they've got a summer sale coming up, and we're going to let you know when that is. So thank you for them for sponsoring us. And I'll fit to you really quick, and we're going to go. There's the frog. Check that bad boy out. Thank you to them. And we still haven't had any winners. I don't know if people just, the instructions are too deep. So I think what we're going to do is once we maybe we'll do something on Facebook and wrap it up like that. But either way, thank you to them. Awesome sponsors. Got some awesome products. And, that's my favorite right there.
I love the core shots, man.
I do awesome too. That is my favorite right there. So Check them out. Instagram, Facebook, riverwisefishing.com. Thank you guys all. Have a great week, everyone. We'll be talking to you guys in next week. I've already got guests lined up, by the way.
Nice.
So really, really excited. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.
You've been listening to Basscast Radio, the best in local and national bass fishing news. To listen to more episodes, check us out on all the podcasting networks. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, thebasscast.com, and Basscast News.